actually realized I believe I joined LSAT Unplugged like end of August. So I've done almost 2 months of being in your program. So it's been going really well. I'm working full time, and so I don't study for as many hours as I'd really like to and as I feel like I need to. But I've gotten a lot out of your sessions. I've actually already taken the LSAT once in August, and I was pretty under my target score. And just in case it's useful, I guess I'll cover what I've tried in the past studying wise. I studied pretty lax from June to August, like once or twice a week. And then I did till like end of July. And then I did some extensive full-time studying for 3 weeks leading up to the August LSAT. And took my LSAT in August, took a little bit of a couple weeks of a break, and then got back into gear when I joined your program. And I've been studying more since then, about 4 times a week. And I try to attend your weekday classes with the students and the tutors like Kirby and Psalm and Jeremy.
Great. Well, I'm glad you've been in the mix of everything. Any particular challenges you're facing or anything I could do to support you in terms of your next steps?
I've been thinking about that a lot because of our call, and I don't necessarily have like a concept or a technical question for you, but I know you sprinkle in some general coaching in your emails and your blogs, and so do your tutors, which I really appreciate. So my question is less of a concept or a technical question on the test itself. It's more about personal study habits. I'm in this really bad habit of procrastinating taking full length exams as practice because I'm very intimidated by the results, and it just shows me like everything I need to work on. And I think ideally the results of a practice test is it can show you where to focus on next. But when I see those results and I see that I need to work on a little bit of everything across the board, I'm really discouraged. So now I'm in this bad habit of just not taking them. And then I stress out about not taking them. And now it's like 26 days till the November LSAT. So I was wondering if there was any coaching you could provide. Maybe, I guess it's like a mindset coaching question, less of a technical concept question.
Yeah, sure. It's a common issue to procrastinate on taking those full length exams. I get it. You're not the only one. People either take nothing but practice tests or they do none of them. And of course, you want something in between. So I guess my question is, in what ways are you currently working on pacing and endurance?
I am doing more timed sections. So I took not a full length exam, but I took like a logic games section and I timed myself for 35 minutes. And I would do that kind of drilled practice times per section, and do like a logic games one, then a logical reasoning one. Those are the most frequent ones that I practice with.
No reading comp?
I'm pretty comfortable with reading comprehension. So I probably should sprinkle more in there, but I do them from time to time.
Have you ever done 2 sections back to back?
No. Mm-mm.
Of anything?
No.
Okay. So my suggestion for you is something to try out would be, rather than jumping straight into doing a full length practice test, what if you did logic games, then reading comp, or reading comp, then logic games?
Okay.
Or reading comp, then LR, or LR, then reading comp. So you do reading comp mixed with one of the others.
Okay.
Just that. So we're just doing 2 back to back.
Okay.
Then you level up. You do 2 back to back, 10-minute break, 1 more. The third one to get the variety.
Okay.
And then you build up to finally doing 4.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds manageable. I don't know why in my brain I was like, it's all or nothing. You sit down for the 3 hours now, or you like never. So I think that's really great advice. And then I've heard and seen and read that like, we should review everything we got wrong or that we got right, but we weren't solid on why we got them right. Do you time box like the amount of time to do like a post-test review? Because for me, I feel like I could just review forever. And I'm like, how do I know when I'm done and I can take my next one?
It's a good question. Yeah, it can take a really long time. I might time box it by days. So let's say you're doing one exam a week. You could then have one day devoted simply to taking the exam, and then 2 days devoted to reviewing anything you got wrong or had difficulty with. And this amount of time will actually vary based on how many you got wrong or had difficulty with and how many hours you have available in a day. But you also have your calendar of the next practice test coming up in 1 week, or you could be doing 2 exams a week, or you could be doing, as we've just discussed, building up bit by bit, 2 sections, then 3, then finally 4.
Okay.
And you also can play with raising the bar on what constitutes a question worth reviewing.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So if there was a tiny bit of uncertainty, maybe you don't review it for that long because you have other priorities. You have questions that gave you more trouble that are more worth reviewing. Or you set a goal in terms of how many full-length exams do you want to do? How many sittings of 2 sections or 3 sections do you want to do? Because I suggested a gradual progressive approach here, but your exam's in November, right?
Yes.
So we can't take 3 weeks to build up and only let you have 1 or 2 full-length exams. We've got to build up a bit more quickly than that. So maybe you do 2 sections today, then 3 sections tomorrow. Take a day to review all of that, and then do 4 sections, a full-length sitting, like 4 days from now. And then you start doing 4 section exams alternating with 2 or 3. So you have 1 week where you do, so let's say next week, you've built up to doing one for your first 4 section exam. You take a day or 2 to review that. Then you do 2 sections, take a day to review that, then do 4. You've got to get at least 5 or 6 4 section exams under your belt before test day to work on the endurance factor. I'm just suggesting that it doesn't all need to be 4 sections exams.
Okay. Got it. Okay. That's really helpful. And I guess I do have a conceptual question. So I've never been able to finish a full logic game section in 35 minutes. And Kirby's been attending his class, and some of some student-led sessions have been really helpful in that. When I first started, up until the first time I took the exam, I only got through 2 logic games. But a couple of weeks ago, I timed myself and I got through 3 logic games. So I do see upward momentum, which I'm proud of, but I know there's a lot more to go. Is there a wall for people in logic games? And am I just, because would love to know, and we'll figure it out around that. Or is there something that I may be missing that I could work on?
I don't believe there's a wall. I think it's just a matter of identifying any weak areas you have in terms of concepts, certain game types, finding trends. So when you got 2 out of 4 games, what were the other 2? When you got 3 out of 4, what was that other 1? Let's make sure we understand all of the ones that you missed as thoroughly as possible. And then let's also see how can you increase the efficiency and the speed with which you solve the ones that you are getting correct.
Yeah. Increasing speed. I've been kind of focusing on that. And so I've read, actually found your blog really interesting about increasing or improving your, I forget what you called it, but short-term memory recall, your working memory. So I got that app that helps with that, the to and back.
Yeah,
it's really challenging.
Yeah.
That is really challenging. And you said, like, don't let this completely replace your LG studying, which I don't. But on times when I need a break or something, I'll find myself playing it. And I think it's helped. I'm also learning a new language on the side for personal reasons, but I found that kind of helps improve working memory. I don't know if you have any other advice in terms of like just growing that muscle.
Do more logic games. The
Okay.
language stuff, I'm sure, is beneficial because the LSAT is like a foreign language, right? It's a
Oh,
totally
yes.
different way of thinking and speaking. Dual and back is also useful as well to test the limits of short-term working memory. But
Okay.
with the exam a month away, you want to focus primarily on doing actual LSAT questions. The other stuff has a peripheral benefit, but I would actively recommend those things for someone who's got years before they take it. So, of course, dual and back is better than like social media for LSAT, of course. But with the exam a month away, I would just focus on doing more logic games and focusing on any games that you give you trouble, any types that you come across.
Okay, got it. All right, and I'm curious because your story is really inspiring. I got a 152 at one of my earlier exams, and I think that's like right around where you started to. When you had your breakthrough moment, you were just committing to like improving on LSAT, kind of coming up with the formula that we're all experiencing through LSAT Unplugged. Were you doing that full time, or were you working while you were studying?
I was in college for parts of it.
Oh, wow.
And then there were also periods where I had no other obligations. It was over the course of a whole year, so there was some variation there. But I put a lot of hours into it for sure.
It sounds like it. Yeah. I like meeting the other students because, hearing what they have going on outside too just reminds me that it's possible. Like there's enough hours in the day. It's just a matter of dedicating those hours to certain things. But it is challenging. I think I try to do some morning sessions, but I'm not fully awake yet. So then I'll try to tack on in the afternoon or in the evening, but I've just had a full work day. So I'm just figuring out how to balance all of that. I'm going to take the whole week off leading up to the Saturday of the exam just to chill and focus. I have a feeling I'm going to need to take it for a third time, and it might mean like applying next cycle instead of applying this cycle, which is what I was hoping to do.
A couple thoughts. One is that you can take it in January and still apply this cycle. January is not too late. Even February is not too late either. Law school admissions timelines have shifted over time such that applying early matters much less than it used to. Law schools waitlist tons of applicants to see who else will come along in January, February, even March. Of course, it's better to apply earlier, all else being equal, but all else is not equal because with another month or two of studying, you could do significantly better, right? So you'll do everything you can for the November LSAT, working a full-time job. You'll squeeze in time before work or during lunch or after work and do a lot more on the weekends, of course. But then if you feel that you would benefit from another take in January, by all means, go for it. Make the most of the holiday season if work's a bit quieter, squeeze in additional time where you can, and then give it your all for January and then get your applications ready. But I wouldn't delay an entire cycle just because of January.
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't know what Reddit forums I've been reading that were like, no, like November is your last one, but I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think I might consider taking it, early next year and still not missing out this year. Something I was late to the game to was just realizing how much time in advance you have to like really get the ball rolling if you want to be in law school by a certain year. So that's really helpful to know. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Any other questions or anything else I could do to support you during this call?
No, I think you got everything, Steve. Thank you so much for your time. Your classes and materials have been really great.
I'm so glad to hear, Grace. It was great to meet you. Let me know if you need anything at all moving forward. Happy to help.
Will do. Thanks, Steve. Take care.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.